Right now, somewhere on the edge of a forest, a wild wolf is watching you. You have no idea it's there. It hasn't eaten in 3 days. It's bigger than you, faster than you. It could close the 15 feet between you before you finish turning your head. It doesn't. It lowers its head, turns, and disappears back into the dark. Think about how strange that is. A wolf pack can drag down a full-grown moose, 10 times your weight, and open it up while it's still kicking. It does this in winter, in the open, against an animal built to fight back. And you? You're soft, you're slow. You've got no claws, no speed, no fur. By every rule in nature, you're an easy meal. So why are you the one animal on Earth a starving wolf won't touch? Or is it something we did to them? Start with the thing everyone gets wrong. You assume the wolf leaves you alone because it can't reach you, or because you got lucky. Neither is true. It can reach you in 2 seconds. Luck has nothing to do with it. So let's start with what almost nobody bothers to check: the actual body count. And it's smaller than you'd ever guess. A team at the Norwegian Institute for Nature Research, led by an ecologist named John Linnell, spent 20 years doing the boring work nobody else did. They counted every wolf attack on a human they could actually verify across 3 continents, going back centuries. In 2021, they added 18 fresh years of data. Across the whole planet, from 2002 to 2020, they could confirm around 490 victims. And here's the part the scary headlines skip. Most of those came from wolves with rabies. A sick brain, not a hungry one. The deadliest clusters were in Turkey and Iran, where rabies still moves through wild wolf populations. Strip the sick animals out, and a healthy wolf hunting a person for food nearly falls off the chart. In all of Europe and North America combined, 3/4 of the world's wolves, living next to hundreds of millions of people, they found 11 attacks in 18 years. 2 were fatal. Sit with that. Cows kill more Americans every year than wild wolves have killed on the entire planet in 2 decades. Deer kill more, bees kill more. The most feared pack hunter in human history is, on the numbers, less dangerous to you than the drive to work. Think about that the next time a headline turns a wolf into a monster. But they barely attack isn't the same as they're scared of you. Maybe they just can't be bothered. So a team in Italy decided to measure the fear directly. Led by an ethologist named Martina Lazzaroni at the University of Parma, they tracked down 185 individual wild wolves spread across 44 locations, deep forest to the edge of the city. And at every spot, the same test. First, they dropped strange objects in the wolves' path. New shapes, new colors, things a wolf had never seen. There's a name for it: neophobia, the fear of anything unfamiliar. City wolves were bolder with the objects. They'd walk up, sniff, adjust. Then the researchers hit a speaker and played one thing: a human voice. The results landed in 2026, in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. And everywhere, the answer was the same. Didn't matter if the wolf grew up beside a highway or had never seen a person in its life. The second that human voice played, more than 8 in 10 wolves did the exact same thing. They froze, they ran, they melted into the deepest cover they could find. Think about that gap for a second. The same wolf that would trot right up to a bright plastic object it had never seen in its life, curious, unbothered, heard a human voice murmur from a hidden speaker and ran like the ground had opened under it. Not the smell of us, not the sight of us, the sound of us talking. And it gets stranger. You'd think that fear only holds where we hunt them, that a protected wolf would loosen up. So another team, run by Liana Zanet at Western University, tried it across 1,100 square kilometers of Poland. They played the calls of every big predator in that forest, bears included, then human voices. The wolves feared the human voice more than any of it, more than a bear. And these weren't recordings of gunfire or shouting, just people talking, calm and ordinary, the kind of murmur you'd hear at a bus stop. That's the sound a wolf treats as the most dangerous thing in the forest. and they feared it just as hard inside the protected zones, where nobody had hunted them in years. And it goes further than staying away. Ecologists have a name for what that fear does to a place: the landscape of fear. Where wolves can hear us, they shift everything: when they hunt, where they raise their pups, which valleys they'll cross and which they won't. A single recorded voice, played into an empty forest, can bend the movement of a whole pack for days. We don't have to be there. The sound of us is enough to redraw the map. Here's what that means. The wild ancestor of every dog once chose to walk toward our fires. Now it runs from our voices. In 40,000 years, we went from the one animal a wolf would team up with to the one animal it can't afford to meet. Look at it from the wolf's side. In 2015, an ecologist named Chris Darramont at the University of Victoria put a number on us. Humans kill wolves and the other big carnivores at roughly 9 times the rate everything else combined kills them. Disease, starvation, rival packs, all of it, 9 times. Picture every wolf that dies of old age, of hunger, of a kick from a moose, of a fight with a rival. Then picture a pile 9 times higher, and that's the one we make. To a wolf, we're not a competitor. We're not one more predator on the list. We are the list. No other animal in that forest does this to a wolf. Not a bear, not a rival pack. Nothing else hunts them for no reason at all. Not for meat, not for territory, just because they're there. And the wolves that lived long enough to have pups were the ones that learned to vanish the second they heard us coming. Fear of us isn't something each wolf works out on its own. It's the only trait that survived. Get inside its head for a second. A shape steps out at the tree line and makes a sound. Not a roar, a voice. Flat, strange, and it doesn't stop. Every wolf that ever heard that sound and walked toward it is dead. Every wolf that heard it and ran is why this one is alive. It doesn't know why it's terrified of a slow, soft, clawless animal that talks. It just knows. The way you rip your hand off a hot stove before you've decided to. That fear isn't a thought. It's older than thought. Now, the honest objection. Somebody's already typing it. Wolves do kill people. It happens, it's real, and it's horrifying. So let's be exact about when. November 2005. A young engineering student named Kenton Carnegie was killed by wolves in northern Saskatchewan. 4 of them. But those weren't wild wolves in the way we mean it. For weeks, they'd been feeding at a garbage dump next to a work camp. Watched, photographed, fed, let in close. Someone had switched the fear off. That's the pattern in nearly every case. The wolf that hurts a person is almost always a wolf we taught to stop being afraid. We fed it. We tamed the terror right out of it. And a wolf that loses its fear of people isn't a lucky wolf. It's a dead wolf that hasn't gotten the news yet. And this is where the science runs out of road. A heart monitor will tell you the exact instant a wolf's pulse spikes when the speaker clicks on. It'll tell you how far it ran and how fast. What it won't tell you is whether the animal is remembering something, or dreading something, or just running a program it can't feel at all. The fear leaves a mark we can read. What it's like to be the one afraid. That stays sealed inside the skull, in a language that never had a word for us. And still, once in a long while, it goes the other way. On March 8, 2010, a woman named Candice Berner went out for a run. 32 years old, 4'11", a special education teacher who'd come to a tiny village on the Alaska Peninsula to work with kids who needed her. She was jogging a road less than 2 miles from town when a wolf brought her down. Afterward, they examined the animal. They expected sickness, starvation, rabies, something broken that would explain it. They found none of it. The wolf was healthy, well-fed, thick with fat. That one time, it just made the older choice. And that's the part to hold on to. Not that wolves are gentle. They're not. But that nearly every wolf alive tonight, on every continent you live on, carries a verdict about your kind that was written before it was born. And the verdict is, Leave him alone. He's not prey. He's the thing that taught us to fear the dark. You think you got spared because you're lucky? You didn't. You got recognized. So tonight, 15 feet away, in the dark, a starving wolf is deciding what you are. It already knows. It's afraid of you.